Hey, Jesse.
Hey, Lindsay.
What are you drinking today?
I'm drinking a little bit more of my Jack Daniels.
Did you forget?
No.
Do you need to remind you?
I need to drink more of it. That's what it is. It's Jack Honey.
Mm-hmm.
Because of the pollination.
Because of the pollination.
All the pollens down here in Florida.
Yes.
It's nasty.
Everything is yellow.
Yeah, and it was all yellow.
We're getting seasoned. Good.
You hear me?
Good.
Can you hear me now?
And it was all yellow.
What are you drinking over there? Tell me.
I've got me a black cherry Vista Bay. I'm about to go to get me a green apple one, though.
So, black cherry Bam-Lam.
Yes. Vista Bay.
Black cherry Bam-Lam. Whoa. Yeah, I like it. I bet it's good.
It is good.
Yeah.
I've let it get a little warm, though, because we've been
busy
watching a little bit of
the stuff
we're drinking about.
Yeah. This is episode 3 of the stuff we're drinking about.
This will be the last part, guys.
The last part.
Yeah, we're gonna wrap it up.
Monsters of the Moors.
So yeah, we've been watching. They are so British and Scottish that we had to put on subtitles.
Yeah, no offense over there.
No offense whatsoever. We love it.
He's like, "Are you skint? Are you skint?"
Yes.
And I guess you're broke.
Yeah.
And
I know
skint.
that's crazy because I was thinking the same thing. I was like, I don't remember that because I want to use that.
Yeah, I want to use I'm skint because
I'm skint.
I'm skint.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm lintered skintered.
I was taking a sip and almost choked.
That was cool. No? Yeah.
Yes. Leonard Skintered.
Yeah.
Yes. So, what made you feel old?
Well, last time it was like the shoulder thing and the pollen, and now it's like...
There's a fly buzzing around our head. It's a gnat.
A gnat?
Because we ate outdoors and we left the back door open, and it's already hot as fuck here in Florida.
Already.
I mean, we're just at the beginning of
And everybody's
April.
like, where was spring?
We went straight to summer.
Summer.
And I'm, with the summer solstice over here. But
yeah, so what makes me feel old is time.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, it passes by so damn fast.
As old as time.
Oh, that is such a good movie. I think it's our favorite.
Well, okay, so it's number 1, but a close, it's almost right in number 1 with me is Lilo and Stitch.
You like
as far as Disney movies go.
But mine and your thing is Beauty and the Beast for sure.
Beauty
Beastly.
and the Beast.
Speaking of that, what made you feel old this week?
Okay, so I'm going through perimenopause a little bit. My mood swings, buddy, they are insane.
That and fucking with the thermostat.
Yeah, I've had
You cannot get comfortable.
Full-on hot flashes this week. Full on. My first one was at work this week. I have a regular group that comes in the first Tuesday of every month. It's a motorcycle club. And they love me, so they request me, and I take care of them. And when I was taking their order... Full on, head to toe.
Night sweats.
Head to toe. Pure sweats right out every single pore of my body, all the way to my toes. My toes were sweating. I don't even know how that happens.
So is that like a realization when, okay, you're a girl and you become into, womanhood, then you got to figure out to deal with all that.
Mm-hmm.
Then you have your 30 years of womanhood. And then... now you have to deal with all that. Women got shit into the stick, really.
I already only have about 1 good week out of the month between PMS, the actual period, ovulation. Then I get a week where I just feel normal. And then it all starts over again.
It's a circle.
And then now I have perimenopausal. So, So that, I had, my heart was racing. I felt like I was going to faint for a minute. And I was kind of moist the rest of the night. And it was gross.
Sweaty.
Yes, sweaty moist.
I was like, I wasn't part of that. I don't remember this one. What was this? What episode was this?
And then I had one again today. I was cleaning the house. And usually we keep our house cold pretty much year round. I was cleaning and just doing my normal Friday shit. And I just started breaking out into a sweat again. And I turned the thermostat down like 2 more notches. And then after I get a shower, I'm freezing. Like everything. I'm cold, like uncomfortable cold. So yeah, it's a struggle. That's what makes me feel old.
It's a circle.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's a circle.
A circle.
Yeah. So, but to all of our listeners, happy Friday.
Yeah. Happy Friday, everybody. Woohoo. We're here. We're here. We're here. We're here. We're here.
We're here.
We're here.
Part 3, Moore's Murders.
It kind of reminds me of Horton Hears a Who. We're here. We're here. We're here. We're here. We're here. Yeah. You know, and I love Horton Hears a Who. It kind of reminds me of how small you actually are. You remember that Men in Black movie where they were playing with the marbles and the marbles were galaxies?
Yes.
That's how small we are, Lindsay.
And it blows my mind. Like when I see videos or TikToks or whatever on how small our planet is compared to our universe, compared to the universes around us. Like when they do that thing where it's like, it shows all the galaxies around you.
Just our galaxy is like 500 billion stars just in ours. Just in ours. Does it make you feel like overwhelmed or anything weird about that? I mean, I'm comfortable with it. I'm living, you know.
I have this same overwhelming thoughts thinking about products that a restaurant uses. Like just the restaurant that I work at alone is one of over 600 chains of the restaurant that I work at. And sometimes I'll sit and think about all the chicken and butter and jelly and and eggs that we use on a daily basis. Then I think of that times 600. Then I'm thinking about all the other places.
At the same time,
I go into a whole zone.
We're like a grain of sand to anything. It doesn't matter, you know?
It's insane.
So I guess stop sweating it. With your night
right,
sweats.
Yeah, I'll have to literally, I shake it out of my head so I'll stop overthinking about product usage. Yeah. It's crazy.
And quit it. Just quit it. It doesn't matter. Really don't. Live life. Be happy. And listen to true crime and drama with us. God. Drama. You've been fucking me up, dude. This is like episode 26?
Yes, this will be episode 26.
Whoa.
I know.
26. And I'm still here in this damn seat. Crying and puddling.
You're right by the peace lily though, so you can just like touch it and laugh into it and cry into it.
Lindsay's her plants dance in the morning.
In the morning.
She sent me a video of that.
And he was like, "Oh, I bet that's just the wind from the fan." I'm like, no, they only do it in the morning.
I'm looking right now. They're not moving right now.
Nope.
But in the morning when the sun hits them, her plants are dancing. Yes. That is insane.
I know. It's so cool to me. Really I love it so much.
Get a peace lily and watch it dance in the morning.
Yes.
But I'm going to let you fire because...
you haven't asked me, what are we drinking about today?
We already know. It's part 3 of the horricious...
Well, you know, but our listeners may not know. This could be their first episode.
Oh, yeah. It could be. Well,
could be the first episode coming into their algorithm.
If it is, though, go back.
Go back.
Because you don't want to be here yet.
You don't want to be here yet.
Horricious, Mauritius.
Yes.
But we're talking about these murders and stuff in England.
Yeah, so we're on part 3.
Great Britain.
Of Myra Hadley and Ian Brady. Not Hadley.
United Kingdom.
I'm thinking of Tyler Hadley. Oh, God, that's another episode that we cover. Go way, way back.
Way back.
So, excuse me, Myra Hindley and Ian Brady, the Moore's murderers.
Yeah.
I just made Jesse... We're watching a 3-episode miniseries on them that's on Amazon Prime called...
It's playing out pretty cool.
See No Evil.
It's playing out pretty cool, yeah.
And if you are new here, what we do is we have a drink. That was me setting mine down. Jesse sipping his.
I'm always drinking mine. So if I'm quiet, I'm drinking.
We talk about true crime. And at the end of the episode, we plug a band that we're digging and that we think you should also listen to. And My ultimate goal is to break Jesse, and I think I have a little bit with this one.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've broken him quite a few times.
Up too.
Yeah.
At the end of this one.
Ooh, I'm excited. So, we're going to part 3. And we ended the last episode with Ian and Myra killing their 5th victim, Edward Evans, with an axe. And involving Myra's brother-in-law, David Smith, in this one. They just kind of brought him into the mix for absolutely no motherfucking reason. Poor David.
It's crazy to watch the whole thing unfold and see her reading about the manipulation and how they have both just caressed and led everybody into this horrific thing that they do to them. It's insane.
And what did I point out to you? That the photos in that little docu-series, movie series, basically.
It's them.
It's actually
the
them.
victims,
I was like,
yeah.
That's really them. That's really their fucking picture.
And you were waiting. It was like, where's
Pauline? Yeah.
And then boom, they drop it. And there she is. And it's like, I'm starting to see all this now coming to light. And I don't know about the last bit of this. And I know I'm not ready. I'm not ready, Lindsay.
I can go ahead and ease your mind that was the end of their murder spree.
Well, nobody wants to know that yet.
Yeah, they do. Because I'm about to tell them. So David had no idea what he was walking into when he walked into Myra's home from his house and witnessed a brutal murder, played nice until he was able to leave, walked slowly away until he was out of sight, and then hauled ass till he gets home. Upon arriving home, he is vomiting and dry heaving. That he's had to hold this in for a long time. Okay, I mean, it was like
a day and a half, right?
Not a day and a half. No,
it was.
He
started with them, hung out the night, the murder, then the next
and he
morning.
went home around 3 a.m., which I called the witching hour.
Oh, okay, the witching hour. Okay.
And he tells Maureen everything. He walks right in the door. He's sick as fuck, terrified. He tells her everything, and they go directly to the police.
And it hadn't been long before that they had just lost their baby, right?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, because that was their coping mechanism. They started hanging out
with them, and then they were like, "Hey, by the way, you want to do some robberies? You want to do this?
Right?
You want to do that?"
Ian was trying to get David to become him.
Fucking full on axe murder, right there in front of him.
So when they go to the police, David gives them a full statement on what happened. Plus, lets them know that Ian had told him there had been more murders, and the victims were buried at Saddleworth Moor. He also let them know that Ian did have guns in the house. So 24 plain-clothed policemen were called to duty to surround Gran's house. Poor Gran.
I wonder if the police come in and she was like, "Can I make you some sandwiches?"
Oh, my God. So Ian, while he had murdered Edward, had hurt his ankle. So he was going to call into work that day, but was sending Myra as normal. Remember, they both worked together at Millward's Merchandising. Myra was about to head out, and a lieutenant on the case had found a bread delivery man and asked for his truck and his uniform so he could use that as a ploy. You know, what happened to the days of milk and bread delivery? Not that we need fresh bread delivered every day, because
Instacart.
We would be so fat if we got fresh bread delivered every day, fresh, hot, warm.
I mean, it is. I mean, it's there. All you got to do is just click on the app. You know, it's there.
I know, that's true. But I mean, it was just a service that you
But let's
paid
always
for.
forget about that, Lindsay.
I
We
know.
cannot have ice cream here in 30 minutes. We're not gonna, it's not happening.
No, we have done it.
Yeah.
Okay. So the lieutenant knocks on the door, dressed as the bread guy. And Myra lets him right in, even though she was like, "We don't really order this service, but you got some fresh bread. Come on in. Come on in." And this is a very smart move because unbeknownst to him, Myra and Ian had made a pact that if they ever got caught, they were going to go out in a blaze of glory.
In a blaze of glory.
Bon Jovi. I'm going out. I don't know what he says after that.
In a blaze of glory.
Well, he says, "I'm going out in a blaze of glory." And then he goes, "I'm going out in something, something."
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
So what's that from? Young Guns 2. Bon Jovi. Young Guns 2.
yeah.
Fucking fire-ass movie, both of them.
By the way,
Opening a new
R.I.P. Val Kilmer.
Yes.
That just
I know.
jumped right in there.
Yeah. Even though that has nothing to do with what we're talking about. But rest in peace, because he did
like the Young Guns, and then I was thinking of Guns, and I was thinking of
fucking Doc Holliday.
I'll be your Huckleberry.
I'll be your fucking Huckleberry.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyhow, Mad Mardigan passed away. Yeah.
I know. Mad Mardigan. Batman. From Batman Returns.
I'm done. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, that is one of my favorite ones.
You're clouding up about that one, Lindsay, over there. Look at you.
Okay, so Michael Keaton, yes. He's the best Batman.
For hands down. We'll argue about this.
Batman Returns is a fantastic fucking film.
It is. Okay, it is.
It is a great film because you get Robin into the mix. Yeah. You get Jim Carrey as the Riddler.
Yes.
And you get Tommy Lee Jones as fucking Harvey Two-Face.
And it worked out perfectly. It was really good.
Such a good
movie. It was really good. But, our OG, though.
And Drew Barrymore's in there somewhere, too. She was one of Harvey's girls.
It was good. It was good. Anyhow.
So they were going to go out in a blaze of glory.
Yes.
Along with a suicide pact. So the lieutenant comes in. He's dressed in the bread. He's got the bread delivery man. He's got the bread, but he pushes right past her. And Ian is on the couch writing an excuse to get out of work for the day. Because, you couldn't. I mean, I don't know. I know they had phones in the 60s. Maybe Gran just didn't have a phone per se. I don't know.
But it was easier just with a note,
So police start searching the area, and then they find a room that is locked. They demand that it be unlocked. And Myra's like, well, the keys are at the office. So, but Ian's like, just unlock it. And there was a fight that got out of hand last night. It's upstairs. This is what Ian says. And then they found Edward's body. Can you imagine being a police officer, finding the body of a man who had been axed with 14 blows and then strangled?
It's everywhere.
So Ian tried to get his revolver, but he had forgot he had put it in another room the night before, and he couldn't get to it fast enough. Police found the written out plan to dispose of Edward's body and notebooks that Ian had written in, and he had written the name John Kilbride. So now they have a connection.
Yeah.
Up to this point, no connection.
Right. And the whole town had already gathered up all these other missing individuals, and it's a circle. Mm-hmm. It's a full circle.
Yeah, well, they on the miniseries, they show like a map, and they find someone right in the center, and they're like, Gorton. And that is exactly where these fuckers were. Yeah. Yep. Ian was initially charged with just Edward's murder, and Myra was also arrested, but then briefly released for around 4 days and stayed with her mother. Now, she really hadn't had much to do with her mother. She's been with Gran most of the time.
Right.
She did destroy some evidence, though, while she was out, but she didn't destroy enough. The ticket to the luggage locker containing a whole bunch of evidence was found in her prayer book.
Ooh.
Yeah. This luggage also contained the tape recording of Leslie Ann Downey's torture and murder.
And that's the one I never want to hear.
All kinds of horrible pictures of their victims. And so now she's officially charged. Police then find out that Patricia Hodges, the little girl that hung out with them, and they didn't harm, but they would have her walk, go on picnics with them on the moors. They had her walk on the paths that Ian and Myra had taken on the moors. On Saturday, October 16th, while walking some of these paths, they start looking through the photos that Ian and Myra had taken, and they found Leslie Ann Downey's body. Like, they compared the photos to spots.
The spots, yeah.
I did not write this in my notes, but they also did they took Myra's dog, Puppet, because there was a picture of her and the dog standing at one of the graves, and they did like a test to see how old the dog was. And it ended up passing away under anesthetic.
Wow.
Yeah, while trying to figure out how old the dog was to compare it to this crime scene. It was insane.
Timeline, yeah.
And then Myra's like screaming and hollering. I mean, it was sad, but Myra's screaming and hollering and calling them murderers. Girl, shut up.
Yeah.
And I found in some sources that one of her arms, one of Leslie Ann Downey's arms, was out of the grave.
Really?
Yeah.
You know, with that kind of soil and everything, though, it really looks like it shifts a lot, you know? Yeah, and I feel like, you know, during seasons and stuff, it would shift, and it was kind of marshy.
Well, it looked kind of swampy, marshy, whatever you want to call it. Leslie's mother, Ann West, had to identify her body. Look at the photos and listen to the tape recording.
I'm not going to listen to any tape recording.
It's not available.
You can't.
I wouldn't do that to you anyway. I wouldn't do that to our audience. Yeah, that's.
This is horrible.
Yeah. But imagine,
we have played track from other things, but goodness gracious.
But not of somebody's actual murder.
No.
But imagine a mother having to hear that. Having to hear her baby call for her, call for God. I mean, everything.
Yeah. Begging just.
Alan West,
horrible.
Leslie's stepfather, says that he wished he had been able to do the identification so Anne wouldn't have had to carry that trauma. But he wasn't a blood relative. So it had to be Anne.
Oh, so rough.
I know. So Ian was brought in for more interrogation. They put all of Leslie's clothing in front of him and let him know that they had found these items with Leslie's body buried at the morgue. They tell him that they also found the photos and tape recording. And Ian refuses to speak until they got to playing the tape. And he was like, I know what's on there.
Already ready.
But they still made him listen. So he admits to taking the pictures, and that was indeed his voice on the tape. But he says that, he says that she left his house alive. But it wasn't even his house. It was Grant's house, right. Myra's, whatever. And he says that she was brought to him and taken away by David Smith and another man. Now putting the blame on David. The brother-in-law.
No.
Yeah.
The one that spilled the beans.
The one that spilled the beans.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure that he had, because he's very intelligent, I'm sure he had figured out that that's who did it.
Yeah, he's trying to go back at him. That's the only person that could tie it back together.
So they do the same thing with Myra. The clothes, the photos, the tape recording. And all she says is, I am ashamed. So they do the same thing to David Smith because now he's been accused. And David had never heard this before, obviously. And he is horrified and just weeping out of pure horror and sorrow.
Yeah, he just watched him hack up a dude, and now there's more shit behind it.
Right.
And it's just unbelievable, ungodly stuff. Oh, my God.
So the police were like, okay.
To be in his spot.
Fuck.
To be in his spot, Lindsay.
I hope that never happens. I mean, I know it happens all the time. But I would hate for a person who has no idea what they're going into to have to listen to something like that. I mean, he wasn't there, but I would be traumatized for life from just hearing something like that.
Yeah.
So police are like, okay, we don't think he did it because he is showing genuine shock and horror. And the other two, not so much. Ian and Myra are now charged with Edward Evans and Leslie Ann Downey's murder. Investigators look more into the photos, and Detective Joe Munsey, who had been on the John Kilbride case, he takes a crime scene photographer with him and compared photos with the one where Myra is holding her dog Puppet. He pushes a stick down into the ground, and when he pulled it back out, the smell of decomposition is on the stick. They dug the area and found John Kilbride, or his remains. They brought one of John's shoes to his family, and the family confirmed that it was his, and then John's mother had to go identify his body. She could tell from the football buttons on his coat that it was him.
Oh, that's right. You had said that in the first part of this.
Which football is soccer over there. So Munsey, he puts together a photo album with pictures of her, of Myra and Ian, and photos of their victims, and shows it to Myra. Like, he compiles it and makes it like the victims' photos are going to be like a surprise, like to see their reaction.
Right.
So every time a photo of a victim would show up, she would look away and eventually started screaming at them to get them away from her. And I'm like, you know what, bitch? You better look, because their parents had to look at these photos. Their parents had to identify there wasn't even bodies anymore. It was
and the
remains.
2 years of uncertainty and anguish and your child missing and all that. Take it in, bitch. It's your turn.
Well, Ian, he was unfazed by the photos and then started admitting to Edward Evans' murders. And he admits to taking the photos of Leslie, but still blames her murder on David and his unnamed assailant. While awaiting trial, Myra sends her mom a letter requesting better heels and asks her lawyer to request that her hair can be retouched so she can continue her bleach blonde look, because the press was making comments about her dark roots and that upset her.
Oh, she had to be all beautiful. Roxy.
Roxy.
Got me.
Bitch.
Roxy.
Yes. Ladies and gentlemen, and any of our, I'm drunk.
Welcome to the shit show here. Any of our listeners, any of our fans of musicals. We love musicals, sorry.
He's, she's, theys, and thems. Go watch Chicago if you haven't already. And if you have, go watch it again, because we do, time after time.
Yeah, if I was there, I would be wanting to be done up like Roxy, too. Shit.
All right. Well, this request was denied at first, but it was later allowed.
Ah.
Yeah. So initially, Ian was charged with the murders, and Myra was charged with being accessory after the fact. And their preliminary hearings begin December 2nd, 1965. And they're protected by glass barriers, because I'm sure, like...
People was out to get them.
People was out for
That's been hitting the town for 3 years now?
No, 2.
2?
About a year and a half. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Well, let's see. From 1963 to 1965 is when their killings occurred. So, yeah. We're in 65 now. Yeah. Almost 3.
Yeah. I was pretty close. Good.
Ann West, while she was on the stand, that's Leslie's mother, she went into hysterics and called Myra a tramp and said, "I will kill you." As she should. That's exactly what I would do. And she said, "How can you look at me when my innocent child is dead because of you?" Myra and Ian, they were sitting beside each other, holding hands. And Myra just whispers, "I'm not a tramp."
Oh.
And I mean, why was that allowed? A different time. I don't know.
They're having a sweet moment there, Lindsay. Let them have their moment.
Oh, fuck them.
Fuck them.
So Terry Downing, who is Leslie's biological father, he and her uncle would attack a police car that they thought Myra and Ian was in. And I mean, everybody in this community was out for these monsters.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, they were. Because, I mean, they're 5 victims now. I mean, at this point, they actually only know about 3. But David Smith would get immunity for his cooperation, and he took the stand on December 8th. Now, we go all the way to April 19th, 1966, and that's when the actual trial begins.
Pick up sticks.
Yeah, there was a lot of 6s there. They were tried for John Kilbride, Edward Evans, and Leslie Ann Downey. Pauline and Keith haven't even been brought into the equation yet. Maureen testifies against Myra. This was her sister, her best friend. Like, they were super close. The movie the show we were watching portrays their closeness.
Right.
Other than Myra holding the baby. She didn't have shit to do with that baby.
Yeah, but the fan and the shit has already hit. And
yeah.
It's everywhere.
And so Maureen mentions in her testimony, her and Myra have been discussing Leslie's disappearance. And Myra says to her, her mother must be such a wreck. And then laughs maniacally. And that always bothered Maureen. I mean, could you imagine?
Yeah.
Your sister's like laughing about this kid's disappearance. She would also say that Myra hated children and didn't even give a shit about her child, which was true. Myra wrote her mother a letter being very upset about this. Very upset that Maureen has, turned against her. And unfortunately, David and Maureen did admit to getting money from the press for their testimonies, and that made them look really bad to the public. And also, Maureen looked just like Myra, but with dark hair, just like her. So
it was a big, fun money grab, wasn't it? Yeah.
Well, and also that made the public hate Maureen just by association.
Yeah.
She looked like her. There were separate trials for each victim, and during the trial for John Kilbride, Ian and Myra were passing notes back and forth to each other and laughing. Having a good old time.
That shit?
Exactly. That's what I was just about to say. What the fuck? Why was this allowed?
Yeah, it's not going to fly.
The 60s were wild, man.
That's wild.
Because that would not happen today.
It'd be like, okay.
They wouldn't be in the same room.
No.
For any of the trials. Jury, yeah.
Here is my verdict.
And if they were, they would be separated.
Like, Lindsay, you're looking pretty hot today. What do you think about my tie? Hey, you think if we get out of this, we can go back to the moors?
Oh, fucking hell. That's probably what they were writing.
Fucking hell.
So when Ian is on the stand for Leslie's murder, he said that it was not him, but David and a friend. But he says, I did put the handkerchief in her mouth and a scarf to cover her face just before the end.
So it don't fucking matter either way, dude. You're done.
So he fucked up.
Yeah.
And then he says, after completion, we all got dressed. So now he's fucked up twice.
Yeah.
And then, they went back downstairs and whatever. So Myra showed no remorse while she was on the stand and even stuck her tongue out at someone. Like, are you 5? What the fuck?
That was a big gesture though back in that day. Yeah, like you were doing. You're all the crazy hand gestures and stuff that are like all outdated now. Yeah.
I don't know. I can't.
Go fly a kite and stuff.
Yeah. Go fly a kite. Or what was the other one? No. Go ride a bike.
Yeah.
Sweet Fanny Adams.
Yeah, all that good stuff. Good stuff.
Our UK listeners, hit me up. Am I correct in my slang there?
Not at all. I'm sure. I don't know.
And even though she would later say that Ian was manipulative and abusive and threatened her family if she didn't go along with all this evil that they had done, on the stand, she said, I made my own decisions and Ian did not make me do anything that I didn't want to do. So what, are you an abused, beaten down woman? Or are you a strong, independent woman that makes your own decisions? Come on, pick a side.
But I'm both. Pass me another letter and tell me I'm beautiful.
Myra would say that during Edward Evans' murder that she was in the kitchen and she heard the screams and she just covered her ears. Who does that? If I heard screaming, I'm coming running.
Yeah, even Gran tripped out.
Yeah. But they found blood splatter on her shoes. Ooh. And it was on the outside, not on the inside, because she also said that she had took off those shoes and they were just hanging out in the living room. But it was not, if they had been off their feet, off her feet.
It wouldn't have been on it. Yeah.
It would have been inside the shoe as well on the outside, but it was only on the outside.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Myra, just keep on lying. It's not really working out for you, but keep on going, girl.
Yeah, you have nothing to ride on.
The attorney general said, did you put your hands over your ears when you heard a little girl of 10 scream? Yeah. And she just says, no, I didn't. So on May 6, 1966...
Pick up sticks.
Yes. Ian was found guilty of all charges, and Myra was found guilty of Leslie and Edward Evans' murder and for harboring a fugitive because they couldn't pin her to John Kilbride. They couldn't pin her to that one. Yeah. So they just pinned the harboring a fugitive on that one. They both get life in prison because the death penalty had actually been abolished in England like 4 weeks before their arrest.
And I'm sure the community did not like that.
Oh, I'm sure not. Yeah, because it was still hangings, wasn't it? Back in the 60s, death penalty? Or was it? No, electric chair. Electric chair was a thing.
I know France did guillotine up into the 70s.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Well, I actually did know that. Yeah,
all kind of stuff.
I want to mention Morbid again. They do a whole episode on death and torture throughout the ages.
When
And
we
that
went to
was
St.
really
Augustine,
intriguing.
they were doing some of that shit into the 70s
The
too.
impaling. I could not fucking... Okay, these are just wax figures, and I could not even look at the impaling with my naked eye. Like, I could not focus on it too long because it went through the woman's...
Stuff all the
her
way up
privates.
until it come out.
All the way into... Ugh.
Wherever it comes out. That's tough. But like when you're in older...
Yeah, that whole experience gave me the heebies.
older parts of the world, like where a lot of that medieval stuff really happened, like that's common knowledge. You know, every bit of that whole museum that we seen in St. Augustine, that's all common knowledge. Like the breaking of the wheel and
I know, but
stuff.
it's just like looking at it is a whole different thing.
Yeah, that's a good little video that we
flogging
put
and
on
everything.
YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you want to check that out, check it out, guys.
Yeah, I tried to include the audio that was on in the museum as you went along, and
Some of
it was
there.
rough.
Yeah,
it was rough.
That's rough.
Yeah. So Ian went to Durham prison, and Myra went to Holloway. So Myra went straight into solitary confinement for a bit, but when she got put into Gin Pop, she was attacked by like 10 inmates that had invited her to a card game. She then had to have a guard walk with her like everywhere for a while. She filed an appeal saying that being tried next to Ian had hurt her chances of having a fair trial.
Walk with me in hell.
Oh, yeah. Well, that was denied. Ian was also attacked and had to have a guard with him at all times, but he spent most of his time in solitaire. Ian would go on many, many hunger strikes to try and end his life. Like, he was like, I don't want to hang out here, but we'll get there. He hangs out there a long time. One was for 28 days. One was for 52 days, and then one was for 72 days. And they would end up force feeding him by like putting like a block in his mouth and just like shoving the food down there to where he would have to swallow because his mouth was open. I'm surprised he didn't just try it. I'm surprised he didn't just try to choke on the food.
So, I mean, they wanted death. They just really was like...
Well, he did. Ian did.
Yeah.
Myra turns the tables. We'll get there.
She thinks that she can steal Roxy on the way out. Right?
Yeah. Yeah, she didn't have no Billy Flynn getting her out.
Inconceivable.
We want Billy. So Ian and Myra would correspond often, writing in code about their murders and talk about their love for each other.
When you were talking about them doing whistles and stuff of songs that remind them of shit, dude, this is so
I played them for
sick.
you.
So sick.
Yeah.
And then I couldn't even take a
And they're
shower
good
and you're
songs.
playing that shit while I'm trying
I know.
to wash my
Jesse's
ball
like,
bag.
put on some tunes. And I'm like, okay.
Thank you, Lindsay. Son of a bitch. Dude, that was horrific. Mm-hmm. And then you tie it all back together over here to me, and you're just like, I got you again, motherfucker. I got you again.
So meanwhile, David and Maureen are harassed daily because the public still thinks that David was involved in the murders. And that's because Ian and Myra, their names like...
Me and Ira.
So Ian and Myra both say that he is. Like, they're sticking to that story. Well, Maureen gets pregnant again, and at one point they were baby shopping and she gets spit on by somebody. They actually end up having 3 sons together total that do survive. Remember, their first baby passed away. Later on, David gets to a breaking point and he actually stabs the man for calling him a child killer. And he goes to prison for this for about 3 years. The man did survive, so he didn't go to his prison for murder. It was just like...
Yeah, but everything's all built up to a bunch of bullshit that they're spreading. And it's just...
Right, and I mean, and David did the right thing. He brought them down, or these fuckers would have still been killing.
They would have been up to 15 or so.
Yeah, I mean, because there was no connections whatsoever.
Oh, we're planting a garden in the moors.
Right.
Yeah.
Fucking hell. So while in prison, Maureen has an affair. And she writes to David and tells him that it's over, and David tries to slit his wrist, but he does survive. Maureen ends up being a shit mother, like an absolute terrible, terrible mother. She leaves all of her children under the age of 6 at home alone while she goes out, and she starves them and ends up losing all 3 boys. When David gets out of prison, he works hard and he gets a home, and he remarries and gets all his boys back.
Look at that. The men be doing the work.
But he did end up euthanizing his father in 1972.
Never mind, I'll take that back.
Well,
I mean, he did right by them kids.
Yeah, but he only spent 2 days in jail for that.
That's a mess.
Yeah.
And it's all brought up on, you know.
Like I said, he wasn't that great.
Horrible,
but
though.
He wasn't.
But he's broken.
He wasn't,
you know, he's broken.
Yeah.
He tried
lost
for
a
them
child.
Kids. Yeah.
Now he's being accused of something he didn't do, something that he actually stopped from being done.
To the point to where he attacks back. And yeah, what a fucked up mess.
So Myra, she manipulates this Lord Longford guy who would take on cases for prison reform. Myra at first wants this guy. Well, she brings him in. She gets him under her spell, and she talks him into trying to get conjugal visits with Ian.
Oh,
yeah. And after he meets her, he likes her, but after meeting Ian, he really thinks that Myra was definitely overpowered and just brought into his dark lifestyle, but he does not think that conjugal visits were a wise decision. And Myra ends up hating him after that. So then Myra, she starts having relationships with other women around 3 years into her sentence and breaks things off with Ian. Yeah.
Oh.
She claims that Ian threatened to kill himself over this. But Ian was actually like, whatever. And says she flatters herself. Yeah. Because
I'm sure he's got him a few bros in prison.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. He was already way more on the homosexual side than the bi side, and definitely was, I think.
They was getting them rocks off.
Yeah. Well, it's hard to, I think there was love. And he later on says that there was definitely love between him and Myra. But I think that was just because he knew that he could, I don't want to say manipulate, but he could easily bring her into the dark side. Because it was
whatever
easy.
he wanted.
He knew that she was
so
obsessed
infatuated with him.
Yeah. And it doesn't take a lot of manipulation when you know somebody is already that head over heels for you.
Got him.
So Myra ends up changing her name to Myra Spencer, and she gets back on the religion train. And she actually gets special treatment in prison. She gets some female guards and even the warden under her spell. And she gets to go on like walks and stuff with the warden. Like they're buds.
It's nice.
Yes.
It's nice.
And I finally made the warden my friend.
Yeah.
Bringing it back. Well, we were listening to that shit last weekend, weren't we?
Red.
Oh, Red. Come on, somebody. Why don't you run? Oh, resist and have a little fun.
Can I get real low on here? Can I have a little fun? I can't do it. I can't do it.
Blake doesn't go that low, but
George
does.
George is better than Blake. I don't care.
I love Blake Shelton's version.
Red, George, all day long. Fuck Blake. Sheldon.
No, how
George
dare you.
Jones, the possum, has Old Red on lock. It's way better.
I know it was his song. I know that. But Blake Shelton does it.
Not better.
Justice. I'll say justice. Can I say justice?
As long as I have a mic in front of me, not better.
Okay. So one guard Myra is having relations with actually helps her with an escape plan. And their meetings for their relations was actually in the prison chapel.
Myra gonna have relations. Myra gonna have relations. Myra gonna have relations.
So this guard's name was Pat Carnes, and she ends up receiving 5 years for trying to help Myra escape. Myra gets another year tacked on to her, like 5 life sentences, so it's whatever. But she still gets a private cell, a TV in there, and she's still treated like prison royalty.
In the 70s, that's good.
Yeah. And she somehow gets the role of Mary in a Christmas play at the prison. Mary.
I had to pause for the cause.
He's laughing at the plant, y'all. My plant is like, what, sir?
I can't even. Hang on. I hit the mic. Hang on. How?
Yeah.
Oh, Mary.
Mary, did you know?
Tell your mother not to cry no more. All right.
So Ian, at one point...
The fuck? You killed all these people.
Mary. Yeah.
Leave me alone, Lindsay. No,
Could you imagine how Jesus felt?
Jesus did not like that.
No. That's something that Jesus would not do.
He took the wheel and, well, never mind. Y'all keep driving this shit off the cliff. Calm down there, Lindsay. Calm down there. Are you okay? That's a hell of a fucking nativity scene right there, man.
Literally, Jesus.
Yeah.
JFC, okay? JFC. So Ian, at one point, he starts transcribing books into Braille for blind children.
That's some fucking top level shit. But he's doing children's books now. So we got Mother Mary and Dr. Seuss. The fuck?
So he starts to mentor young thieves in prison, okay? And he would give them imprints of his fingerprints on cellophane to leave at crime scenes so investigators would be puzzled as to how this would have cellophane. Oh my God, so many Chicago references here.
I know, I love it.
Should have been my name. Oh my God, I love it. Let's watch Chicago while we go to sleep.
Yeah.
Okay. So, I mean, could you imagine though, like you're investigating a crime scene and Ian Brady's been in prison for like 10 years at this point and his fingerprints are there? Just,
I just like, what the fuck are these people doing? Like, I guess this is their way of giving back, I guess. I don't know.
giving back. Fuck that. So the delusion is what they're giving back to. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, come on. They should not be breathing anymore, but still.
No. So in 1976, a newspaper, I think it was The Sun over there. Like there's Suns everywhere. I think it was their version, Manchester's version of The Sun. They did an article on the 10-year anniversary on Ian and Myra's crimes. And inmates read this newspaper. And the attacks, they start up again. Because these are new inmates. You know, you got new rounds, 10 years. And yeah, so one woman, like, she beat the shit. I think her name was Josie. She beat the shit out of Myra. Like, to where she had to eat out of a feeding tube for a while. Like, attacked her ass after reading the horrific things that Myra Hindley did.
To them poor ass kids, man, it's just so.
So Myra, she makes a lot of appeals, and she would get denied over and over. And Ian, he was like, "I'm never going to appeal. I accept my fate. This is where I'm going to die. I know.
You're dead to rights. I mean, your hands down. There's nothing. Nobody else can conclude that there's nobody else. There's nothing. No. You're done."
So early 1985. I think this was like January. Ian hints that this is a long time late. This is almost 20 years late. This is 20 years later. Ian hints that he and Myra were involved in Pauline Reed and Keith Bennett's murders.
So he's going to bring those up too so they can find them, at least give them.
Well,
No, yeah.
So Myra, she denies this at first. And Keith's mother, she writes Myra a letter because her son has not been found after all these years, and she has no idea what had happened to him. And she begs Myra to come clean, give me some closure, tell me the truth. Come on, girl. Mother, or not mother to mother, because Myra, thank God, is not a mother, but woman to woman. Myra, she doesn't respond directly to Keith's mother, but she releases a statement basically pinning everything on Ian, but she has agreed to help police find Keith's remains. Ian responds saying, girl, I got all them letters that you wrote to me in our early years in prison, so you better shut the fuck up. But she doesn't. And like, that's me paraphrasing. But so the moors were searched, and Myra did, quote, try to help them, unquote. But I think she just used this as an opportunity to get out of prison for the day or week or whatever. And Ian went as well at separate times, but neither one of them actually helped. And Myra does end up confessing to be involved in these murders in 1987.
Wow, that long.
Pauline's body was finally found after 22 years. And her mother, Joan, was in a psych hospital when she found out. Because remember, I mentioned in part 1 that she had a mental breakdown?
Yeah.
Yeah. But now she finally had some closure. Keith's body has never been found. Never.
Come on, man.
It's reported that Leslie Ann Downey's grave had been desecrated by Myra Hindley supporters. She had supporters, and they desecrated an innocent child's grave.
And she was telling them where it was. And they was
No, Leslie they had already found. She was tried for Leslie's murder. Her supporters, who think that she was manipulated and abused by Ian, desecrated the grave of an innocent fucking child.
Again, afterwards, went back out there and fucked with it just because they were trying to support her.
They moved her.
That's disgusting.
Well, I mean, they dug those remains up. You know, her mom had to identify her, and then her parents put her in
the relocated grave.
The relocated grave, exactly.
Now, see, I was thinking of the Moors.
No. They didn't leave them. Yeah.
Yeah, you really can't call that a grave. That's not a burial in any means.
That's the murder spot.
That's a murder spot. Okay, I'm learning. Okay.
Yes.
Damn. Though.
This whole thing, this ruined Ann West, who was Leslie's mother. It ruined her life. And she became like insanely protective over her surviving children as a result, and had to fight constantly for Myra to stay in prison because Myra was appealing all the time. And at every appeal hearing, she had to relive
that's like
all
a
of it.
20-year fucking freight train.
It was more than it ended up being like 30 years
of just constant anguish and regret, and every situation you thought you could do better for your child where they wouldn't have been in that situation, you know?
So Anne wrote a book called For the Love of Leslie, telling what she and her family had gone through. And I tried to find it on audiobook, and it's not there. But I do want to buy it, and I want to read that just in honor of Leslie.
Yeah.
Like, I did read I did listen to a couple of audiobooks on this whole case of it was people that Myra and Ian had talked to, and then they wrote books. Documentaries were actually a little bit more informative because you get two different sides of the story.
Right.
Because
and they've also done their deep research and put it all together for everybody. Yeah.
But Anne, she passed away from liver cancer in 1995. And I mean, I don't know what caused her liver cancer, but I mean, I'm just assuming she had to probably drink to live because I would.
Yeah.
I would probably have to drink daily just to be able to live with what happened to my child, and then live with the fact that there's this bitch in prison that keeps trying to get out.
Well, you and I, though, we're a bigger support system. I don't think we would let ourselves sink into that. I mean, we'll have our little getaways and things, but we wouldn't let ourselves sink into that, you know?
I just don't know.
I wouldn't let you do it. Not to succumb to the alcoholism. Not at all. No.
Well, when she passed away, she requested to be buried next to Leslie in an undisclosed location. So Leslie was exhumed again due to the disrespect on her burial site, and now they are next to each other. But nobody knows where it's at because fuck the public and fuck Myra supporters. Fuck you.
That's horrible.
Yeah. So Myra continued to appeal into the 2000s. This shit happened in the 60s.
Wouldn't hang it up. Just wouldn't fucking hang it up.
And Ian even spoke out against one appeal, basically saying that when they were together, everything was done as a unit. And now, over many years since they had parted ways, she's tried to make it all his fault, but that was definitely not the case. She had just as much involvement as he did. And he stuck to that. And he's a piece of shit, and I fucking hate him, but he's pretty much, other than trying to pin it on David, he's been honest.
Yeah.
You know?
But there's no way David could get it pinned on him either. I mean...
Oh, to an extent. They could have given Keith's mother some closure and they know where that baby was buried. Yeah. They know where that baby was buried. So Myra, she would have many, many ailments in prison. Yes, girl. She would have a heart attack, a stroke, cerebral aneurysm, irritable bowel syndrome, osteoporosis, high blood pressure, high cholesterol, depression, arthritis, asthma, and a broken femur. And after suffering from bronchial pneumonia for 2 weeks, she died in 2002 at 60 years old.
Bye-bye, bitch.
Bye-bye, bitch. Rot in hell.
Yeah.
I don't even want her to go to hell. Like, I want her to go somewhere else.
Somewhere worse.
Somewhere worse.
If there is a worse, go there.
Go there.
Go there and hang out.
The hell for fucking child murderers.
Get you some conjugal visits down there.
Yes. 20 undertakers refused to handle her body. Refused. 20. That's a lot.
Oh, good for them.
Yes, good for them. I wouldn't want that on me.
No.
So she ended up being cremated.
There you go.
So Ian tried his hunger strikes again, but he ended up being fed through a feeding tube now because we've got feeding tubes.
I'm going hungry.
And I'm going hungry. Yeah. That was terrible. Sorry.
No, and that was beautiful.
But he ends up getting lung cancer, and he died in 2017.
Damn.
2017.
Them old hard asses live hard.
At 79 years old.
79. Old bastard. Gone.
I didn't play you this one. I almost did. But there is a song by the Smiths called Suffer Little Children that was written about these murders. I've listened to it.
Oh, damn.
It's hard. It's somber as hell, too. And there's a mini-series that we've talked about a couple of times already called See No Evil, The Moors Murders, because there's another See No Evil. So you have to type in See No Evil, The Moors Murders. And then there's a movie called The Moors Murders Code, a documentary called Hindley and Brady, Possession, and another documentary called Moors Murders on BBC Select. And there's a lot of mini docs on YouTube that I watched as well. And that concludes our 3-part journey of the monsters of the Moors.
Lindsay, this has been one hell of an adventure that I would never want to be on.
We're done with these fuckers.
I'm done. We're not coming back.
We got to go on to the next fuckers.
We got to move on.
Yeah.
But goodness.
I think the next fuckers may be worse.
Do not say that. You say that every time, and it is. It has been really tough. Really tough for me. We've laughed. We've cried.
We've cried.
We have definitely been horrified. That should be our slogan.
Yes.
We've laughed.
We've cried. We've been horrified.
Been horrified.
That's it.
Well, I guess I can do this. I mean, is it time?
Do not give me applause for this shit.
Oh, I got to.
Do a boo.
You get one anyhow.
Do we have a boo sound?
You did a great job, Lindsay.
Thank you
so much for fucking me up again. It has just been... Don't give yourself applause. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead with your big
I'm giving
head.
myself applause for fucking you up.
Yeah, oh, okay. Well, I guess that's good. Can I play music yet? Or are we going to elaborate more on this? Or
No.
I think we've already...
We're done.
We're done.
We're done.
We're done.
We're done.
Okay. Well, I'm going to a band that I found from Russia.
Is that the band we're plugging today?
That's the band we're plugging, Ape on the Rocket. I've been talking about them for weeks now.
Yeah.
I am excited.
You've been ready.
Because it's going to be up your alley. I'm going to blow your fucking mind. My turn.
Russia.
You're going to love it. It's so up your alley. And they're looking for tours. They're wanting to get out.
They're looking for a, what did you say? I wrote it down.
A tour manager and a record
label
deal.
Yeah, a record deal.
They need a record deal.
That was the sound of my papers falling everywhere.
So.
And they're from, what did we say? We just looked it up. What the fuck?
Yeah.
Kalininsburg,
Russia.
which used to be Koinensburg. They're from this place in Russia.
They're from this whole other place.
This whole country.
No.
I gotta pull it.
Yes.
Kaliningrad.
Yeah.
Kaliningrad.
Because
Kaliningrad.
I've been reaching out and I found some cool bands and I definitely want to give them props. These guys are
amazing.
And
it used to be
Königsberg.
Yeah, that.
Yeah.
We're horrible. Ape
Listen,
on the Rocket,
but we're not
do not
Russian.
hate us.
We love you.
she
Thank
doesn't
you
know
so much
yet.
for sharing
Lindsay doesn't
your
know
music,
yet,
and I don't know yet, but I'm already thanking you in
I am in
advance.
slap love with you guys, and
Excited.
I really want to just support everything from globally.
Yes.
And that's what I'm here for. I'm here to find bands, dig them up, let y'all hear them, and check them out.
Do not dig them up from the Moors.
No, they're not from the Moors. They're from Russia.
But if there's a band in Manchester, we will play you. Because
yeah. So send us your stuff
Ian
too.
and Myra.
Globally, anybody, send me your music, and we want to play it. Drink about something not sight.
Yes. Follow us on Instagram. Send us a Gmail.
Yeah.
Follow us on YouTube.
Can I play some good ass fucking heavy
And
ass fucking
any
rock?
platform that you listen to. Give us a review.
Yeah.
That way we can get into the algorithm. You will really be supporting the show if you give us a review.
What about now?
Okay, yes, you can.
Can I play it now? Mm-hmm. I can play it now?
Yes.
I can do it?
Yes.
This song's called Follower. Ape on the fucking rocket. Let's do this.
I'm ready.
This. You ready?
Mm-hmm. Ooh. Oh my God. I didn't want it to end. I need more. I need more right now.
I bet.
Oh, that right there. That's my shit.
I don't know what they were saying, but I fucking
have no
love
clue,
it.
but I love it.
So
like
translation
Rammstein.
of that whole song is badassery. That's the translation. That is
Fuck
what
yes.
it is. And a couple of bleh, and some bleh,
So
bleh.
many bless and
Oh, it was so good.
Oh, I love you guys already.
Ape on the Rocket. So check them out.
Instant follow. We just followed you
Follow
guys
them.
on Instagram.
Give
and I
them
will
some
be
love from over
tagging
here,
you
some love
on
from over there,
Friday.
some love from everywhere.
Yes.
And if there's anybody that does come across
Oh, my
this,
heart. I love it so much.
I'm going to send this to Alex.
Fuck.
Alex already know this band.
Oh, I'm sure. They're probably pros.
It got to be.
Yeah, I
Right?
hope so.
Oh, they should be.
Yes. Alex, we're talking about Alex the Terrible.
Yeah. I'm going to send it to Alex.
Yes.
And I'm going to be like, Alex, put them on tour, bro. Get them out.
If you hear that in the background, that's our kids singing in the shower.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. He didn't get to hear Ape on the Rocket. He's not allowed to hear what we're talking about.
No.
But this was a fabulous journey, and I think we closed it with something fabulous.
Fabulous. I mean, top notch.
It was very, very
Top
good.
notch. They call their genre progressive metalcore.
Yeah. And that's what it is.
Yes.
Loved it. Love it. I'm going to check out the whole
Whole
Entourage,
catalog. Well, let's listen to
all
them
of
on
it.
the way to Spookella.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. We're finally getting to go.
Yes. Finally.
Finally getting to go. We've been talking about it for a while now.
Oh, yeah. I was about to say, we've already been quite a few times.
Yeah. We're finally
This'll
getting
be
to
our
go
fourth.
on here. We've been talking about it for a while, so
True.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Ape on the
Ready.
Rocket, though. Ape on the Rocket, though. Ape on the Rocket, though. Really awesome. And we'll see you guys next Friday with a new bombshell that Lindsay's going to drop on me. So you guys strap in, follow us, and share the
Follow,
stuff.
share, like, love,
all that.
review. Hit us up.
Yeah.
Send us a case that you wanna hear us.
Yeah, we got
cover.
some cool ass guests coming. Mm-hmm. We got them lined up. Something to do with some really cool Native American stuff too that I lined up.
Yeah, we finished Yellowstone. We're in the middle of 1923, and we finished 1883.
Yeah.
And boy, let me tell you what I did. I'm not gonna say I didn't like the way 1883 ended, but ripped out my heart and just threw it in the dirt, stomped on it.
Yeah, it's tough.
And gave it back to me.
Lindsay's kind of on that thing too, and I'm talking about the missing and murdered Native American women and stuff. That's a big thing here in North America. So
there's cases galore.
we need to share that.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about that, and that ties in with a movie that you can find on Apple right now. So we'll talk about that later on. But you guys have a great weekend. We'll see you guys next Friday.
Yes. We love you, and bye.